Natrum murticum, chloride of sodium. The prolonged taking of excessive salt causes profound nutritive changes. To take in the system, and there arise not only the symptoms of salt retention as evidenced by dropsies and oedemas, but also an alteration in the blood causing a condition of anemia and leucocytosis. There seems also to be a retention in the tissues of effete materials, giving rise to symptoms loosely described as gouty or rheumatic gout. Provings are full of such symptoms. Dr. Stonham. A great remedy for certain forms of intermittent tract and skin, great debility, most weakness felt in the morning in bed, coldness, emaciation, most notably in neck, great liability to take cold, dry mucous membranes, constrictive sensation throughout the body, great weakness and weariness, oversensitive to all sorts of influences. Hyperthyroidism, goiter, Addison's disease, diabetes. Mind, psychic causes of disease, ill effects of grief, fright, anger, etc. Depressed, particularly in chronic cases. Consolation aggravates. Irritable, gets into a passion about trifles, awkward and hasty, wants to be alone to cry, tears with laughter. That happened to me just a little bit. Head, throbs, blinding headaches, aches as if 1,000 little hammers were knocking in the brain. In the morning on awakening, after menstruation, from sunrise to sunset, feels too large, cold, anemic headache of schoolgirls, nervous discouraged, broken down, chronic headaches, semilateral, congestive, from sunrise to sunset with pale face, nausea, vomiting, periodical from eye strain, menstrual before attack, numbness, tingling in lips, tongue and nose, relieved by sleep, frontal sinus inflammation, eyes feels bruised with headaches in school children, eyelids heavy, muscles weak and stiff, letters run together, sees sparks, fiery zigzag appearances around all objects, burning in eyes, give out on reading or writing, stricture of lacrimal duct with suppuration, escape of pus when pressing upon sac, lacrimation, burning and acrid, lids swollen, eyes appear wet with tears streaming down face on coughing, brackets, asthenopaeia due to insufficiency of maternal recti muscles, gets, brackets, gels, and I'm not going to say colon, when due to external muscles, pain in eyes when looking down, cataract incipient, bracket, secale, secale, ears, noises, roaring and ringing, nose, violent, fluent coryza, lasting from 1 to 3 days, then changing into a stoppage of nose, making breathing difficult, discharge, thin and watery, like raw white egg, violent sneezing and coryza, infallible for stopping a cold commencing with sneezing, use 30 potency, loss of smell and taste, internal soreness of nose, dryness, oily, shiny face, oily, shiny as if greased, earthly complexion, fever blisters, mouth, frothy coating on tongue, with bubbles on side, sense of dryness, scorbutic gums, numbness, tingling of tongue, lips and nose, vesicles and burning on tongue as if there was a hair on it, eruptions around mouth and vesicle-like pearls on lips, lips and corners of mouth dry, ulcerated and cracked, deep crack in middle of lower lip, tongue mapped, arsenic, brackets, restux, and tadux, bracket, loss of taste, large vesicle on lower lip, which is swollen and burns, immoderate thirst. Stomach hungry yet loose flesh, iodine, bracket, heartburn with palpitation, unquenchable thirst, sweats while eating, craving for salt, aversion to bread, to anything slimy, like oysters, fats, throbbing in pit, sticking sensation in cardiac orifice, abdomen, cutting pain in abdomen, distended, pain in abdominal ring on coughing, rectum, burning pains and stitching after stool, anus contracted, torn, bleeding, constipation, stool dry, crumbling, bracket, and mag, painless and copious diarrhea, preceded by pinching pain in abdomen, urine, pain just after urinating, increased involuntary when walking, coughing, etc. Has to wait a long time for it to pass, as if others were present. Bracket, hep, and mur act, AC, bracket. Male, emissions, even after coitus. Impotence with retarded emission. Female, menses irregular, usually profuse, vaginal, dry, lacuria, acrid, watery. Bearing down pains, worse in morning, bracket, sepia, prolapsus uteri, with cutting in urethra, ineffectual labor pains, suppressed menses. Follow with calicarb, bracket, hot during menses. Respiratory, cough from a tickling in the pit of stomach accompanied by stitchings in liver and spurting of urine, bracket, causticum and squilla, squilla, bracket, stitches all over chest, cough with bursting pain in head, shortness of breath, especially on going upstairs, bracket, calcarea, whooping cough with flow of tears with cough, heart, trichocardia, sensation of coldness of heart and chest feel constricted, fluttering palpitations, intermittent pulse, heart's pulsations, shake body, intermittent on lying down, extremities, pain in back with desire for some firm support, bracket, restux incipia. Every movement accelerates the circulation, palms hot and perspiring, arms and legs, but especially knees, feel weak, hangnails, dryness and cracking about fingernails, numbness and tingling in fingers and lower extremities, ankles weak and turn easily, painful constrictions of hamstrings, brackets, causticum, cracking in joints on motion, coldness of legs with congestion to head, chest, and stomach, sleep, sleepy in forenoon, nervous jerking during sleep, dreams of robbers, sleepless from grief, skin, greasy, oily, especially on hairy parts, dry eruptions, especially on margin of hairy scalp and bends of joints, fever blisters, urticaria, itch and burn, crusty eruptions, in bends of limbs, margins of scalp behind ears, brackets, causticum, warts on palms of hands, eczema, raw and red, inflamed, worse, eating salt, at seashore, affects hair follicle, alopecia, hives, itching after exertion, greasy skin, fever, chill between 9 and 11 a.m., heat, violent thirst, increases with fever, fever blisters, coldness of the body and continued chilliness, very marked, hydroanemia, the chronic malarial states with weakness, constipation, loss of appetite, etc., sweats on every exertion, modalities, worse, noise, music, warm room, lying down about 10 a.m. at seashore, mental exertion, consolation, heat, talking, better, open air, cold, bathing, going without regular meals, lying on right side, pressure against back, tight clothing. Relationship. Complementary to apis, sapia, ignatia is a sea and ignatia. Compare aqua marina, isotomic plasma. Marina plasma is the sea water taken some miles from shore and sub-depth below surface, filtered and diluted with twice as much pure scrofulous conditions, with as much more fresh water, with twice as much more fresh water. It acts primarily on the on the blood, as in intoxications, scrofulous conditions, enteritis. It disintoxifies in cancer, administered subcutaneously in the treatment of diseases of skin, kidneys, and intestines, gastroenteritis, and tuberculosis, scrofulous affection of children, lymphadenitis, lupus, eczema, varicose ulcers, a great blood purifier and vitalizer, potent dyes, sea water in weakness, lack of reaction, symptoms, worst seaside, goiter, sal marinum sea salt, indicated in chronic enlargements of glands, especially cervical, suppuration in glands. It appears likely to become a most useful remedy as an auxiliary, if not as a principal, in the treatment of diseases in patients in strumous diathesis. Also useful in constipation. Natrum salinicum, laryngeal stices with expiration of small lumps of bloody mucus and slight hoarseness. Natrum salicum, hemophilia, scrofulous bone affections, giving intravenously with 3 days for senile pruritus. Delicotis, back up here, I'm not even going to say those two. Ignatia, sepia, tuja, graphite, and alum. Antidotes, arsenic, phosphate. Man, I don't have us. Spironite and bulk. Dose 12 to 13th and higher. The very high potencies often yield most brilliant results, and infrequent dosage. Dosage.